Well, guys, I am feeling no guilt whatsoever over this lock. I'll admit to you, I've done some drinking over the last several weeks trying to smooth out this lock just a little bit. I got nothing. This is a challenge lock from the Lok Doktor in Australia. And I guess I've had it about a month and a half, maybe even 2 months. I've got countless hours invested trying to open it, and I got nothing. And about 10 minutes ago, I threw in the towel. I had to know what was causing me no end of frustration. The key was mummied. I did unmummy it to gut it. It did work beautifully despite its very rough look. It just very smooth, no drag in, click in, no hesitation whatsoever. Worked perfectly. It does look nasty though, doesn't it? Look at the bitting on that thing, just crazy. But it is a challenge lock. I would have expected that. I will tell you, in the Bible, there's nothing. There's no serrations, no countermilling, and in the core itself, also nothing. Completely stock. Nothing. No excuses for me hiding in there. All the excuses really are in these pins. These really are nasty. I got to say, Lok Doktor, you've outdone yourself. These are amazing, the way these things defeated me. We do have a couple of standard pins. Number 6 and number 2 are standard. I think also number 3, standard pin. Nothing to it. Number 1 and number 5 are kind of unique, though. These are 2-part key pins. So let me grab this guy. And you can see that he's had a hole drilled right in the top of him there. And so when you think you've picked it, that top serrated part gets caught at the shear line. And then this little key pin drops away, leading you to think he's picked, when in fact you got that hanging down, blocking your shear line. That's what will give you those really nasty fault set. I experienced a couple of those. So number 1 and number 5 had those. Number 3, just standard serrated, nothing to it. The real magic comes upstairs. Now, on this one, number 1, I had to ask myself, why would you, if you have a 2-part pin, this could act as a driver, why would you have an additional driver? And then I remembered literally the pressure I needed was almost like a hydraulic jack in order to compress this one. And that's because he's got a very heavy steel pin here. He's got a steel pin in 3, and he's got a steel pin in 5. And so we have some similarities. We have the pin, the T-pin that is integrated into the key pin there, and then we had an additional spacer here. So these two were tremendous amounts of pressure to push those down. A lot of resistance. Had to fight those things in place. The rest of these 3, number 6, number 4, and number 2 are all copper springs. So a little softer resistance, and I was able to raise those without a whole lot of trouble. Upstairs, okay, we already said we got 2 standards, that one, and those are to give you tremendous pressure. The rest of these are very nasty. All of them are pin and pin. Let me get this guy. They're all serrated, all handmade, and every one of them has this breakaway part. So the spring would be pushing that T-pin or that needle down through that serrated pin. So when you pick it to the serrated pin, that spring would then push that little tip down into the shear line. Again, creating some awesome fault sets. But with this many of them, pins that are going to be giving you these fault sets, your chances of getting past it are not good, as I proved in the many hours of trying to pick this thing. Anyway, that's my level of frustration. I think I'll go drink a couple more beers just to get over looking at these pins. Fellas, I appreciate your time. Stay safe, stay legal. Lok Doktor, thank you, sir, for the lock. A lot of thought and work went into that, and you know what? I still have the other one, and it's still mummified. And I would be willing to bet he's pinned very similarly to this, although I don't know if that's going to help me or not, but I'm going to give it a shot. Thanks, guys.